All right, everybody. See if anyone pops in live. Today, I need to do a little bit of debugging into SAM, and Mark and I was going through the platform, and I thought that I might bring you along with me. So if this is the kind of video you enjoy, and you're in it for a bit of a tutorial along the way, I am just so jazzed by the SAM 2.0 product, and I really think that we're going to be shifting the industry. I know it sounds like cocky to say that, but I really do. So here's the deal. I need to check out a couple of things, and while we're going through that, I'm just going to talk. And if you enjoy this, welcome to the journey. If not, maybe this isn't the video for you, but I do recommend you checking out some of our other stuff, specifically our Demo Day 2025 videos. Now, I spent 2 months trying to produce some higher quality videos for you guys. It is January the 6th, and as of January 1, we officially launched SAM 2.0, which includes what is considered an all-in-one CRM for real estate agents. So we have a contacts, a properties, a listings, and a transactions CRM built into it. There are automations, so workflows, but the real power in SAM is most CRMs have that kind of capability, but they're 30 years old in some cases, and their systems, you can just tell, right? And so I built this using AI from the ground up in a way that it's kind of entrenched into every process, every thought, every action that you can take inside the system. And that might sound terrifying to you, but what it does is it's built to help you. And it's all internally housed into your specific account. So information isn't going every which way, but it can do some really cool things. And so I'm going to take a little bit of time, and I'm going to show you guys what we're doing as we're debugging, but join me if you will. And thanks for coming on. So this is SAM 2.0, and we are on the dashboard section. And what I'm needing to do today to start is actually work on this tallies section. Now, tallies are this idea that my truck actually broke down a couple days before Christmas, which is such a bummer. But bless my family, Mark ended up driving up to St. Louis to come pick me up so I could go spend family Christmas with them all in Bolivar. And shout out to my little brother Jake for being the driver. Mark was in the passenger seat coding, and we had a good time, and they came and got me. But on the way home, Mark and I were talking, and we came up with this idea of tallies. Now, the old adage is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? And so that's essentially what tallies are going to do. Now, it's new year, new me, 2025, January. People oftentimes are making lots of goals, and we have not yet completed this, but inside our quest section, we did have a business planning and goal setting for 2024. We're going to be getting a 2025 built out, and I think that we're going to make this available to anyone who is using SAM, but it allows you to use SAM to help you set some of your goals for the year. But it kind of gets to this idea of, okay, well, we're setting our goals, but how do we accomplish our goals? Now, I am a fundamental believer that accomplishing your goals involves kind of zooming in on them and bite-sizing them into single actions. And I take that probably to a really weird level. This is my Moleskine journal. I talk about this a decent amount, but in each of these, I have, each day is written down with actions that I have to accomplish. And I only have 5 that I need to accomplish each day to be successful. But in doing it that way, it allows me to focus on what are the things that I can do today to feel successful, to move the needle for me. And this has been like the secret to truly like getting this business up and running. And it's something that we have applied into SAM 2.0 through these tallies. So as you're building out your business goals, let's say it's a crazy goal and you want to be a power seller. You want to be a fully in production agent, and you want to close 100 transactions personally this year. That is a great goal because that is a crazy number to me. But if you think about it, 100 transactions is realistically it's less than 10 a month. It's like 9 and some change. Maybe we have a really good month. Maybe we take December, January off for planning. And so, it's 10 a month. And so now we kind of have an idea. Okay, I want to do 100 transactions. I need to hit 10 a month. But there's some math involved on the front side of this. Now, this is kind of an idea that I really developed in the Workflow Secrets dashboards product. And those are defunct, but essentially that was my very first product by Workflow Secrets to try and help you guys. They were dashboards. And so probably an entire hour-long conversation about dashboards aside, you can start to focus in on little efforts. So maybe we learn that for every 10 call attempts that we have up here, we get 1 conversation. And then we realize for every 5 conversations, we get 1 appointment set. And then for every 3 appointments set, we get 1 appointment met. And for every 1 appointment met, we get 1 listing agreement signed. That sounds pretty cool. But you can kind of understand how these actions and these efforts trickle down. And so, a listing agreement signed, maybe it takes 5 to get a contract signed and a closing. And so then once we have our math in place, all we have to do is start really cranking out all of the small efforts that lead to these bigger actions. And this is just a really cool way of kind of thinking about it. And so this is what we built. We're calling them tallies right now. Perhaps that changes, but it's this idea that you can 1 bite at a time start to achieve your goals, and you can do it really successfully. I believe this would be, along the lines of the Compound Effect, which is a really great book. If you have not read it and you're a book person, the Compound Effect, it might actually be over there. It sure is. Darian is the name of the author. I can't read the last name, so this is going to be what I'm kind of spending a little bit of time. So today, the tally filter, call attempts, we can start to check this guy up, messages left, conversations. Now, something that Mark didn't add is a minus sign to ensure that, maybe I didn't mean to click call attempts. I would almost like to be able to click into the number. And let's assume that I maybe I made 20 calls, but I hadn't yet. I don't want to click this guy 20 times. Maybe I can just click in there and adjust it. So that would be a little note of feedback that I have. Now, you might be wondering, what are the calls? So this is going to be something really cool. Now, we have a call list inside of SAM, and inside these call lists, these are all past due. This is my demo, my debugging, and just my everyday account. So please excuse that it's kind of laid out a little bit strangely, but this is our call list. And so my very first call I was supposed to have called in October the 23rd in 2024. So I am very past due on that. That is a big yikes. This person, if this was real business, is probably not going to answer the phone call. But they were at that point an active client. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine leaving an active client basically did not call for that long? Yikes. But maybe we want to click into and just get a little bit more information about our past client. Well, we can do that by clicking into their name. You should be able to do that. There it is. For some reason, Mark's contact is not working. Note that. Debugging, right? So Buffy did work. So we could look at Buffy and we can get an idea. Okay, well, they're a category A. We don't know, what type they are. We're not sure on the status or the milestone, but we did get them from our website. Okay, that's really interesting. They don't yet have a contact preference. We can talk about that in just a little bit because I actually need to review a couple of our routines, which are our workflow automations. Under this, we do have some personal details. Their future home is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 3-car garage on 3 acres. Technically speaking, that's actually a priorities. So here's this really cool thing about Sam. So personal details are where you would share things like likes and dislikes, goals, hobbies, things that you learn about a person that are just like generally interesting. If you are talking to me, you're probably going to learn that I enjoy coffee. You're probably going to learn that I do martial arts. You're probably going to learn that I live in St. Louis, Missouri. Like these are just things that I oftentimes share about myself. And they're also things that traditionally we as real estate agents will take and we'll throw it into our CRM. It's good information. Oh, that's a neat little fun fact. But oftentimes they got like buried under drop-down menus and subsections under files, and they're never getting used. And if you do use them, how hard was it to find it? So the really cool thing about Sam is these personal details and the priorities. Priorities are essentially for our wants, needs, or goals in the specific houses that we're looking for, right? So the properties, what are our priorities? Is it mid-century? Is it a 3-bed, 2-bath? Does it have a garage? Is it on acreage? Whatever it is, put it there. And as you fill these out, Sam is actually learning about this specific person, Buffy. And so now what Sam can do is it can help me when I'm going to send emails by creating specific messages to Buffy using personal details. And all we would have to do is just share in that objective, write me a message using personal details about Buffy to help. I don't have any personal details, so I didn't do that. That would be more for the priorities. But you can do that with text messages. You can do a lot of really cool things. And that is just a really cool thing. Now, I suppose it's worth noting that a lot of people get really like spooked out by the idea of AI and what kind of data it has access to and training. And so this is like a really good opportunity for me to kind of like pause here and just kind of put you guys at ease. So when you're using Sam, we do a really good job. Not only is it 2-factor authenticated, so there's like some privacy, you have logins, you have passwords, but then your specific account is not sharing information. We don't have access to that information to train AI on. That's not happening. It's all locally used. And so when we are actually using this information, it's specific to your account. So your priorities aren't getting shared. I really like to, kind of emphasize that. I even, let's pause the screen share and like take a moment and sit here and do that because I think it's so important. There's a lot of data out there that's getting trained on, and there's no need to be afraid of that. I think a lot of net good can come from that. My personal belief is that there are some really cool things that could happen. A great example of this outside of real estate is in the medical space. Imagine if hospitals were able to take all of the patient outcomes. They could anonymize our names, so no one really knows who it was, but they have profiles, height, weight, age, all of the different conditions that they have, or all of the different family histories. You could start adding all that context, and then you could put it into a large database, and you could probably start to figure out, oh man, this person, even though they're not showing signs of this specific medical issue, they're going to have it. And so now we can look at what we would need to do to treat it before it ever was identified. That's just like a crazy mindset to me. But then also, AI, we're running with a pointy object. And, on the dark side of that is like, wearables, they're tracking all of these different index pieces. And if, say, like insurance companies got a hold of that and they started denying you because January the 6th, your heart rate spiked to 135, and all of a sudden, a month from now, you had a heart attack, they might call it like a underlying condition. And that's a big yikes to me. So all that aside, that's like a fun little tangent. But inside of SAM specifically, over here at Workflow Secrets, this is something that we like really want to be diligent about. And we kind of pride ourselves on being very respectful. The data you put in your account is going to specifically be in your account for you and your team, as you have permissions built out to have access to. And we're not using this information to train. We're actually, this is fictitious information that we're looking at. But like I said, I'm going to just keep laboring on that if I keep going. But back to the call list. So we kind of learned a little bit of information. I wonder if I don't understand why Mark's not letting me. Mark, if you're watching this later, we're gonna have a chit chat about that. But man, Mark's is a good thing. So under this information, we have call list, active client. Objective of this specific call would be to verify all the questions had been answered, discuss their top 10 needs, and then we have some phone numbers to choose from. Now, favorite thing to point out, this mobile device, if you are on an Apple device and you have your iPhone integrated with your MacBook, you can actually use that inside of here. I suppose if you still use Skype or one of those call services, you could also do it that way. But you can make outbound calls from inside SAM, and you can do that. Now, those phone numbers that you see right above this mobile device are actually part of an integration that we have with a company called Twilio. Now, Twilio is really cool, and this is like a bit of a personal learning thing that I have from the industry, the real estate technology industry. And so CRMs as a whole oftentimes will give you these integrations, but you have to go purchase these phone numbers from the actual CRM and not from anywhere else. And so there's this really big bummer that happens. A lot of people switch CRMs every 2 to 3 years. You're kind of always chasing the shiny object. It's my personal like vendetta to get you guys to like choose SAM and it to be so good that you just don't want to leave, and you like retire from real estate 20 years from now still using SAM and it's still the best in the industry. That would be like my personal mission in life would probably be right up there with that. But we built it so that you can integrate with Twilio directly. You can go to Twilio, you can set up an account. It's pretty simple. And then you can actually get these phone numbers specifically for you. Now, the reason for that is, let's say you did leave that CRM, they still own that phone number. You do not own it, and they can't just give it to you. That's not something that can be transferred, unfortunately. And so now you leave Twilio or you leave that CRM, and that Twilio number doesn't go with you. So you try and text a past client, and either A, they don't have your number, or B, even worse, maybe they try and give you a call on an old Twilio number that's no longer yours, and you don't answer. So now you can't help them. Boom, they're just off to another real estate agent. It's, and they're gone, and that's a bummer too. So when you have access to your own Twilio account, it gives you the ability to keep these numbers. These are your numbers. If you didn't want to be in SAM, you found a better system for you, that's awesome. Take your Twilio number with you and don't lose that, right? The other thing happens for SendGrid. SendGrid is the messaging side for emails. And we actually have a really cool tutorial on how to set up SendGrid. I don't have one for Twilio yet. I do apologize for that if that's something you were really looking for. But man, while we're in here, a couple of things. So Mark's old system is a CRM called RealVolve. That's the company that I worked for. And if you have a RealVolve account and you ever want to. We do have an integration with Revolve. You can add that in your integrations tab. You add that, and what it does is it gives you access to some additional features, including the where'd it go? There it is, the workflows viewer. Forget the icon. So when you are in the workflows viewer, you can select specific workflows, and any of them in your account get ported over here. And then what it does is it kind of shows a different layout of your workflow. Now, time and time again, Mark and I worked in the customer support, and then I worked in sales, but we'd get users asking for the ability to print workflows so they could like take them over the weekend to the lake house and kind of like mark it up or figure out a better way of doing it. It was just something that he didn't have the ability to do in that system. So this was my answer to being able to do it. There's a couple of different like formatting just based on how you want it. And you can also print them, and you can just do some really cool stuff. You could change the date order of all of the different pieces if you're trying to reorder your workflow. And then you have the templates. Of course, this one doesn't have any templates. Essential active buyers would. You can look at all the templates, and then Sam's actually going to rate down here how good of a template it is based on its sentiment, call to action, and correct voice. And the voice is inside your profile, your specific writing attributes that come across in all of your different messaging. Now, got a whole teaching series on why it's important to understand your voice as a real estate agent. But ultimately speaking, if your writing is different than who you are as a person, people are going to recognize that. And it's going to throw up a flag in their mind saying, he is fake. She is not telling me something accurately. And we don't want that, because we want to be honest people. And so you can use AI to help create your content, but you also have to make sure it sounds like you. So that's some really interesting things. So that's an integration we have there. Man, I'm just going to like dive into a couple other ones. I'm really proud of this one. We actually integrated with Google recently. A lot of our users actually use Google for signing into the Systems Accelerator Manager. And you can actually send out emails either through SendGrid, which allows you to, inside your templates, see reporting on all of the different emails. Was it processed? How many was delivered? You can see who falls under that category, and you can do that. Now that's with the SendGrid integration. Unfortunately, you can't do that with Google, but this would actually allow you to send through your Gmail account. So that's pretty cool. And then we've got this specific email address that you can actually use as a lead form. So let's say you get lead information that comes to you. You can create these email addresses that send in lead information. So like imagine this was leads coming in from realtor.com. You would just have it built out, and oftentimes people will build forwarding rules to do this, and they can do things like that. We've got an integration with Slack that allows you to get notifications when new leads come in, or things like that. And then I'm really excited about this one. This is an integration that we actually just got, and it's with a company called Dub. Now, I know a lot of people have heard about like BombBomb, or there's another service. I actually think I use this service, but I can't think of what it is. But it's video messaging, and Dub is another video messaging platform that will allow you to send video messages via both email as well as text message, from what I understand. And shout out to Mark. He was the one who worked through and got that one. But the folks over there at Dubbed are really sharp, and it was a really exciting integration. So that's kind of some of the integrations we have, but those things allow you to be able to have all these different call numbers. And so now you make that call. Once you make that call, that past due call would disappear. You could also just delete it. the thing about the call list that's just like worth bringing up is this is like step one. The intention is that we're going to have an area inside here that you can have Sam record and transcribe. And as it's doing that, it can act as a sales coach for you, and it can actually suggest how you could be doing better with the conversation. It could also give you little prompts on questions to ask, if the conversation feels a little dry. And then at the end of the transcript of the call, what it can do is it can take it and it'll kind of score through all of it, and any information that's valuable that it could actually use, it can send into that contact. So if you learn personal details, Sam will send those to the personal details section. If for some reason you were talking about something that a routine happened, Sam could start a routine automation just from that phone call. So that's like the vision, but this is step one, is just giving you guys the ability to have a call list. And that would allow us to, inside our tallies, we start cranking up these call attempts, we crank up these messages left, how many conversations again, and then we start working on our appointments getting set. Now, something that I noticed is when I click, so yesterday, it doesn't let me post date, tallies. But let's assume, let's jump ahead to this week. Now, something I noticed earlier is if I click one for appointments set, and then I click, then appointments met, it won't let me do both, which is really interesting. So this is something that is definitely a bug. This is the point of this whole thing, is for me to find these little things. And you might see at the bottom, we have this really fun one. I was kind of playing around before this just to make sure I knew what I was doing as I was debugging, especially because I'm on film with you. And sometimes nothing's more tantalizing than a live demo, right? But also nothing's worse. Okay, so you click the little initials and you have a drop down, right? You hit setup, and this is where you can get your tally types. So the cool thing about this, Mark's built it out so that I can actually adjust which tally is on the top, so I can kind of keep tabs of like, okay, what's the most zoomed out piece of my 2025 goals, and that's probably going to be calls or appointments. But you can also add categories. And so this is what I did with this. I added this category, and I'm going to copy this. I'll delete it, and then I'll just rebuild it, right? So add category, new category name. What's the category? And I'm actually going to do this a little more thoughtfully. So this category is going to be family. And I do not have a family. I have a significant other. I do not have children. Not really interested in children, but you can add tallies, and this would be a really cool way for you as a real estate agent to kind of keep tally or keep metrics on things that aren't actually real estate but are very, very important to your real estate business. And that's things like family, friends, hobbies, goals, things like that. And so maybe this is under the family. Our goal of this is to attend little Jimmy's soccer game scrimmages. And I guess that's kind of the description as well. And so now we can go ahead and save configuration. And let's see if we hop over here. Boom, attend Jimmy's scrimmage. I actually deleted that, so it shouldn't have. See if it stayed. Save configuration. Okay, good to know. Configs. Trashed. Stay. Okay, well, here's the thought of this from my side, right? Is like we still need to focus on things that are actually very important in our lives, friends, families, hobbies, but then also growing our business. And so maybe this year, one of our goals is actually to have a little more family time. And so now we can start to actually add metrics or tallies to that specific action. And so now, every time we attend little Jemmy's scrimmage, we can add a tally to that. Maybe the goal is to like hit 10 out of the 50 or something like that. But we can keep tabs on that. And that's really cool to me. Now, obviously, that's probably not like the best example, but it's kind of a fun one, not just off the top of my head, that I wanted to go through. Now, the next thing that I kind of wanted to do a little debugging on. So you're just by proxy going to be following me. Now, obviously, we've got routines, right? And these routines are automations. Traditionally speaking, people call these workflows, but these automations allow you to do little things. When they're turned on and set to active, they're active status. That means anytime inside a contact, I'm just going to pick one at random, one of these important dates get filled out, boom, a routine gets triggered. So here's my frustration, I suppose, with automations as they're traditionally built, right? These workflows. And you can do it this way, but to me, it just adds extra steps that don't necessarily be there. So there are two things. First and foremost, you build out this workflow automation, this series of sometimes hundreds of tasks. It's the contract through close process. It's the first time home buyer process. It's the new lead process. And if you get it done in 2 months, you're doing pretty good. But these are just so tedious to do. And oftentimes they involve lots and lots of different areas of focus. And so I said, well, why not just pick one thing at a time and just focus on that? A good example of this would be like the birth date. What would be a great world-class client experience on someone's birthday? And you go build that. And I'll show you what that means in a second. But you can, inside the contact, you can look at the calendar. You can see any routines that have been started, any that have been completed, but then you can also start routines. And this is kind of how you would traditionally start a routine. You could start the birthday routine and it would go. But inside SAM, that's like you're taking, uphill both ways around the corner, jogging in 3-degree heat kind of processes, because you learn the birthday, you plug it into the important dates, boom, that routine starts as long as it is going, right? And so since we're like talking about this right now, I've got my birthday routine. Now I do not have it set to active. So the fact that I was, let's assume that I added a birthday to John Williams, I think is who that was. It would immediately trigger. Now here's where you can start to think about your automations differently. And this is like a teaching series that I have, but we can think about building out world-class client experiences. So what does that even look like? Well, for a birthday, you could do some really cool things. So imagine, 5 days before, we're going to write and place a birthday card in the mail. Now, maybe that is handled by you. Maybe you assign that to your assistant. However the cookie crumbles, that is the activity that we're going to be accomplishing. Now, it's going to be 5 days before. You could set it to any number of days, weeks, months, whatever you want. You could also set like a specific month date. So like maybe January 1st, you just like knock out all of your January birthdays. That doesn't necessarily make sense, but I suppose you could do it that way. And then the start date is just when that routine was started. But let's like zoom into exactly what this means. So a birthday card message, it's going to be sent automatically because I have this checked. And what that means is Sam is just going to go ahead and send it. Now there's a couple of things that make that statement a little bit more like of a loaded statement, I suppose, because so we can send messages, we can add call lists, we can run webhooks, which allow us to have conversations with other software. We can update fields which would be how we could start additional routines. Or we can send a Slack message. Like I said, we have a cool Slack integration. Here is where this gets a little wonky. So these are templates. These are pre-written messages, right? And inside of SAM, I have a birthday card reminder pre-written message. But then I also have what is called an objective. Now, this objective allows me to personalize the specific message to the person who it is going to be written about. So John Williams, it's his birthday. I receive this email 5 days before John's birthday. And Sam is going to write this message personal to John using the template that I have pre-written. So it's going to take this template, it's going to rewrite it custom to John based on personal details I learned or little fun facts. And it's going to use the personal details that would be meaningful to the contact as a part of the birthday message. Now, here's where we can talk about some other cool stuff. I said I'd talk about this later, but you can select the preference. Is it email? Is it text message? Is it just email or is it just text message? And I'm going to show you that in just a second, but let's keep riffing. So then who is it getting sent to? Well, lots of different options that you can choose from. Typically speaking, it would go to the routine contact. But this time I actually want to send it to the record owner. That would be me. And I'm going to save this. Now, what it would do is on 5 days before John's birthday, it is going to send me a message that was written by Sam specifically for John so that I can take this message and I can handwrite a birthday card and I can put it in the mail and it'll get to John hopefully before his birthday. That's pretty cool, right? And then that is part of what I would consider a world-class client experience. You're making experiences that are so great that these people that you're working with just simply cannot help but be excited to work with you, to talk to you, to learn with you, to share about you. These are the kind of experiences that get you little social media call outs. These are the type of experiences that get repeat referral businesses just like start cranking up, right? And so lots of other different things you could do. Maybe you're a book person. You send them a yearly book and you need a little bit of time to get that shipped. Maybe send them a gift card to a local restaurant. You're a wine person, crumble cookies. Maybe send them some flowers for their birthday. But then on their actual birthday, we can do some other really cool things. So that was a message, and we can also add them to call lists, right? So birthday call, it's going to automatically get added to a call list. And the specific call list we're sending them to is a birthday list. That's pretty cool. Doesn't need an objective, but it is going to be to the routine contact this time. And so now on their birthday, we can give them a call. Hey, John, happy birthday. Hope it's been a great one. Oh, did you get my card and my book? That excellent. Glad to hear it. Well, what are you and Samantha doing tonight? You have any big plans? Oh, that's excellent. And then you go to their contact and you type in some personal details about, oh, we're going to have pizza at Gavardi's. It's my favorite. And you just learned like their favorite food. That's so cool. And now Sam can use that information later. And then on top of that, maybe you double down and you send them just a birthday message. Now, here's the really cool thing. So let's like talk about this because it all comes full circle, right? So messages inside of SAM, we have pre-built messages known as templates, right? And this is pretty common for most systems, but when you're creating a new template, you not only can choose specifically what area that template is going to be for, but you can write your email. And the reason they're called messages and not emails is because Sam can actually convert these emails into text messages. So a standard SMS message is 160 characters. And so Sam will go, okay, here's the email, 160 characters, same meaning, here it goes. Now, why in the world would you want to do that? Well, let's assume you are talking to, I thought I had a contact card in here somewhere. There it is. All right. This is my contact card, right? It's all fictitious except for my email. Email me if you want, I suppose. I have a statement that I make all the time. I'm a millennial. Don't call me, right? I do not like the phone. I worked in sales for too long, and it burnt me out at the idea of having phone conversations because I had to have 100 a day, and most of them were people yelling at me for calling them. And tangent aside, if I don't know who you are, I'm not going to answer your phone call. My data gets like breached all the time for some reason, and so I'm always on credit monitoring, and I'm always getting spam calls. So I just don't answer the phone anymore unless I have your contact. And so you could say, oh man, Cody, his contact preference is definitely not phone calls. So what would it be then? Well, maybe it's email, maybe it's text message. If I have it set to text message and I was going to send you an email, but I know you only check your email once a month, you're never going to see that message. And so having a contact preference, Sam could go in that routine. Let's go back to this. I think you get the idea of that, but this is a really cool one. Let's hop back to no, this one was a good one. Let's hop back to here. So message type, this preferred email. So it's going to look for that specific contact preference. In my case, it's now text message. And even though this birthday card reminder template is written for an email, it is actually going to convert it into a text message and send it as a text message because that is my preferred method as the contact that's receiving it. So this is just a really cool way to just like kind of give an extra little like personal touch to someone's preferences in communicating. And oftentimes what I found is this actually allows us to have better open rates, right? If someone doesn't read their emails, they're never going to read your messages. But if you know that and you can send them a text message, they're probably going to, fire back a quick message at their convenience, and you've accomplished your goal of talking to them, right? And so that's kind of the power of that. So these are all routines, and I think you kind of get the idea of that. But I actually need to build a couple new routines today. And so in these new routines, we have properties, listings, and transactions routines. And that is part of our properties database. So let's like, I hope you can follow this like ADHD tangent of me just jumping around. I apologize if it's too much for you, but this is the properties database inside of SAM. So we have property information, and then you can actually toggle between property, listing, and transactional information for that specific property, right? So here you can review owners of the specific property. You could email all the owners at once. That's pretty cool. This is where you put all of your property details. You can gather most of this from either just your personal understanding or your MLS. There are also ways for you to start those automations for all of your properties, for all of your listings, and for your transactions, which is crazy, right? So now you can run automatic processes, routines, for any of the different areas of focus inside of all of these. So this is just so cool to me, right? But something that I kind of want to point at, this is something that as of now, I could be really wrong. One of you guys is probably going to throw in the comments that I am, but Mark and I have not found anything even remotely close to this in any of the CRM systems out there. And this is where me being a little cocky and feeling like we're about to just completely disrupt the real estate CRM industry, and truly believing that we will build a system and are building a system and have built a system that you're going to love so much you're just never going to leave. It's because of things like this. So these are listing offers, and you can add new offers. You can put in all of the offer details, and then Sam is actually going to give it a comparative score and tell you which one is the most, advantageous offer. Now, should you be giving this as advice to the buyer or the seller? Absolutely not. That's not something, but it gives you some understanding so that you just have additional context as the real estate agent. Now, here's where you like put on your professional hat, you apply a little bit of context as the professional, and then you can make those professional, statements and decisions to your people that keep you out of legal trouble. Maybe you understand what I'm saying there, but man, listing offers, you can go into each of them and you can see all of the different offer details, all of the different things, and you can get a good idea. And then, you can choose which one gets accepted. Maybe there's new offers, or maybe your accepted offer no longer is a viable offer. It's not on the table. And so now you need to look at different offers. You can select them and you can do comparisons. You can also just print out details that you could share with your people. So that's really cool too. So each of these sections has all of these, but I need to, 1 second. Go ahead and just keep talking for 45 minutes, Cody. That's fine. That won't affect you. I need to build a routine. Thank you. So I need to go ahead and build a routine. Let's go ahead and, so we're building a routine. Let's go into the listing side. And so we have our properties, listings, transactions. We have our contacts, all of these different ones. You choose the area of focus, and then you choose the specific important date or the date field in which you want to do this process for. So now we've zoomed in on any automation, right? So what exactly does this look like? Let's go ahead and listing date's an easy one. Modified date, market end. Let's take it all the way back home. So photography date, right? So obviously, when we are getting photos done for the house, there's going to be a bit of a process to that. And so this is where an automation can actually really help us. So maybe this is the photography process. I'm going to copy that, and then we're going to click to add a routine activity. Now inside the activities, this is like the overarching thing that we will add our actions to. The actions are actually the things that go out and accomplish something. And a noun is a verb, and a bill gets passed into a law or something like that. So the title of this is going to be the photographer contact. And we probably need to contact them, I would say 2 weeks. Oh, goodness. 2 weeks before. So we could do it a couple of ways. We could either do 14 days, or we could literally just go 2 weeks before the photography date. So hopefully you know your photography date pretty quickly. 2 weeks before, you're going to contact them, and you can set that to activity time, which is going to be when that activity gets triggered. But we're actually going to set that to the process. Let's make it professional within business hours, right? Select the color, and then team member who's going to be doing this. Maybe my marketing assistant is helping me because they're going to get all of the photos to throw onto social media. That's pretty neat. But maybe they're not. Maybe it's just me this time. And then we're going to add an action. Now the actions are these things that come in a lot of different ways. I showed you that through the birthday, but we're actually going to just build this one out. And I will promise you that I do not have this pre-built for you. So if you're hoping that this is going to be a quick, painless process, you'll have to check out one of my training videos where they're actually cut. So photographer contact message, let's select this for automatic processing. Now what that means is if we use a template, Sam will just send it for us and we don't have to stress about it. If we use a template and have an objective, we need to then make sure that it sounds okay, because at the end of the day, you are where the buck stops. And this one is going to be a message. Add to a call list. We'll do that in just a second. I think that's a really good thing. I'm going to leave the objective blank. This is where that preferred comes in. Is the preferred or an email? That's probably the best way of going about it. I would say, though, maybe this does need to be an email. It'd be awfully strange if you were trying to contact a professional photographer and they were like, hey man, only send me text messages. And you're like, well, dude, I've got to keep track of this. Come on, man. And then message recipients. So this is kind of a cool area. I don't know if I talked about this earlier, but this is all the different types of recipients. Is it a contact? Is it just a specific email or a specific phone number that you're sending a message to? Is it one of your team members inside your SAM account, or is it you as the person who created the actual contact? I'm going to go party member, and this is going to be a 2 versus a carbon copy or a blind. And instead of the seller, it's actually going to go up to the photographer. So it's going to go to the photographer. Now, probably what I would do is include some other party members just so that we're aware of this. Probably I don't know, like, would you have a buyer's agent when you're doing photography? Who knows? Maybe. But let's assume that, like, you're working with a buyer's agent and they may not have an active buyer yet, but like, you guys are teamed up and you want to do it that way. Or, let's actually, like, let's circle this back. So let's go team member. They're going to be carbon copied on this, and it's going to be my marketing assistant. That makes much more sense. Oh my gosh. Because the marketing assistant then is going to use this for content. And so now we have all of this built out. The save is not working. That is interesting. Oh, I didn't select a template. Okay, well, that makes sense. So this would be where I would, like, have a pre-written template, and on that template, it would probably have details like, hey, super excited to work with you. Here are the shots that I want, and you, like, list out all the shots. Maybe you guys work together enough that you don't have to list out all the shots. And ultimately speaking, we've got a lot of merge fields. I riff on merge fields all the time about how I dislike them, but truly speaking, merge fields do have a lot of value. It's just like, when people say that is personalized, it just, like, infuriates me, because that's like what those personal details being used to, like, create custom content specifically for that person. That to me is personalized. A merge field is like a sorry attempt at it, because, like, you see, like, dear first name, and you're like, do you think that I am, like, akin to you now because you auto filled in my first name on this mass email that you sent me? Come on, buddy, try again. So I'm just going to select a template. It's good that Sam doesn't let you move forward without a template. That would be kind of funny. But imagine that that's like using some merge fields. It's like property address and time in which we're going to have our photo shoot, or lockbox number, things like that, so that they can get in, they can do this. Maybe, maybe your marketing assistant needs that information so that they can meet them there. That way there's someone from the office who's there. So we'll go ahead and save that. Cool. We have our first activity and our first action. So then after that, I would say probably, we could do like oh my goodness, 1 day after the photography date at 8 a.m., we're going to just do a follow-up with this photographer. And what this is going to do is we're going to just follow up with them and make sure that it all went smoothly, make sure they got all the shots they needed or that you wanted, and your assistant was happy and pleased with everything. So for this one, you could send a message. That would be fine. But I'm actually going to I'm going to show you guys some of the power of Sam while we're doing this. And again, I'm just able to kind of play with a couple of other different options. So add to call list. It's going to be a follow-up call. I suppose it could be a check-in call too, or a listing update. Nah, that's a stretch, but let's just keep it as a follow-up call. And the call objective is check on the photo shoot and see if there are any remaining shots you need / how it went. So this is the call objective. That's what you would have seen on that call list piece that I had earlier. Now this is going to the seller for the call recipient right now. So you could just select a specific contact. It's to, and the seller doesn't need to go to the seller. That's silly. It would never go to the seller in that regard. It's going to the photographer, right? So we're calling the photographer. I suppose you could call your assistant. They were there too, but we're just going to leave it at that. And now we have the start of a routine, right? So here's the rub, I suppose, that this is not the world-class client experience that I want you to build. This is not something that I'm like training you. We're not working through the photography date specific routine that you could build. Maybe one day soon I'll like sit down and I'll actually build like the dream world-class client experience. I'll turn it into a training. I'll throw it up on here. Right now I'm debugging. This is just me debugging. This is me playing around in SAM. And I like to use the system. I like to play around. And more importantly, I needed to make sure that the routine works. And so thanks for following along with me because it does. And so, this is kind of like all I really need to do. All I need to do. We're at like almost an hour of just debugging. But this tallies piece is, I really think is going to bring a lot to it. And I'm just so excited for this. So I was kind of talking about these automatic messages. All of these go into the outbox. This is just like me pointing out a couple of things as we move on with our lives, right? And so the outbox does a couple of things. It shows you when things were sent and when they were sent, and you can kind of review these messages. Shows you what things are past due, what things we have upcoming. I don't currently have anything for today, so it's hidden. You can also click in here and you can adjust how far into the future you want to see, or how far from the past you want to see messages from. So that's really cool. But then the outbox is where any messages that Sam writes for you, even if they were templated, if he does any rewriting for you, you come here and you have to preview it and approve it, right? And so that's how like that process goes. You can also send messages, both SMS and email from here, and you could even send templated messages from here. You could use this Sam AI and you could fill in an objective, and Sam will write you messages. There's a lot of power that comes. So ultimately speaking, like the thing about Sam is, my goal for you is to like start winning back your day in little 3-minute increments. And it's little things like this that kind of all bring it home, right? So imagine you're sending a message 10 times a week and it takes you 3 minutes to write at 3-minute increment. Well, that's 30 minutes this week, right? That's 2 hours at the end of the month. And that's like 24 hours in the entirety of a year from one email. So that's one day a year that you're just hand typing that one email. Come on. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. And so this is the idea that if you write it more than twice, make it a template, or if you know what you need to say, but you don't know what you're going to say, and there's like a blinking cursor, this is where Sam is able to, kind of tag in and at least get you a first draft. And you can do a lot of really cool things because of that. But we're stealing back these little 3-minute increments. And this is like the power of some of our most successful users. These real estate agents who are achieving these 100+ transaction businesses. And at the end of the day, their secret is that they use technology to help them do more in less time. And that's done through automated workflows. We call those routines over here, right? And not only are they using them, they're using like old 30-year-old concepts in 30-year-old systems. These like actual software platforms are not built with modern technology. If they are using AI, they're like duct taping a text editor on there, and it's not even close to what Sam is going to be able to offer you. And this is why I like fundamentally believe that Sam's got some legs, and it's going to help you steal back those little 3-minute increments. The other thing that these gurus of real estate, I don't like the idea of anyone being a guru, but if you go to these webinars or if you listen into the zeitgeist of like successful real estate agents, they're saying the same things. This is how I got here. I spent 5 years listening to people, and then I finally decided to build my own system that could do what they're saying, but do it better. And so it's their technology. They don't know how to use technology. Their technology sucks because it's really old or it's just cumbersome and it's hard to navigate. And then their technology is not helping them out. It's just existing as like a glorified digital Rolodex. And so when you have modern tools, when you have modern tech, you can do a lot more. And I truly believe that. So that is my debugging for the day. That's all I had to do. But I really appreciate you guys. If you watched this and you came along on the journey, I hope you got a good idea of what Sam's going on. Thanks for hanging out with me and just watching me debug for a little bit. This is something that if I get some like good feedback from this, maybe I'll do it again, and we'll make this like a reoccurring video. But you got to let me know in the comments. Was this any value to you? Did you enjoy this? And what bugs were you like pointing at Blue's Clues style? And I just completely missed. That's going to help me and Mark. I found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bugs over the course of an hour, and ultimately having 6 less bugs means you guys as real estate agents are going to have a really cool experience. So this is Sam 2.0. If you have not, this is my big call to action for you guys, and I'm going to end it on this. If you have not, go to workflowsecrets.info/demo day, and you can see all of the features about Sam 2.0. I spent 2 months producing these like higher quality videos that are going to showcase all of the different features. And then all of January, literally once a week, every week, we're hosting a session where we're just going to break out live. We're going to show you guys demo style, and then we're going to open up the floor for Q&A. We're going to really allow the community, you guys, to give feedback, give opinions, give thoughts, give ideas on how we can make this software better for you. And then we're going to give you guys like a really sweet special offer at the end of this so that you could actually hop into the system and start using it. If you're in real estate and you're looking for a piece of technology that is from this decade, if you're looking for a CRM that can actually make good on its promises, and if you're looking for a software that is going to allow you to do more than you ever thought was possible, I truly believe Sam could be that for you. And I'd be really gracious if you would take a look at us and give me a shot to win your business. But outside of that, I'll see you guys soon. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a really great afternoon.